Hello and welcome to our lesson on vertex form. Now, the problems that we were dealing with yesterday and what we're going to see on our examples today, they're going to start off with standard form, where A, B, and C will all be number values. But what we're going to is going to be called vertex form, where A, H, and K are your number values. Now, A is always going to be the same as the A that was over here. H and K, meanwhile, come from the values of the vertex. So let's go ahead and dive right in to writing functions into vertex form. Alright, first thing I want to do is identify what the A value is on our first example. So go to the vertex and see how much the function rises when you go to the right 1 unit. So when we go to the right 1 unit from the vertex, the function rises 1 unit. That means that A is 1. If it had risen 2 units, it would have been 2. If it had gone down, it would have been negative. Alright, now I need my H and my K values. These are super straightforward because they come from the vertex, the maximum and minimum we've already talked about. So this vertex has an X value of 3 and a Y value of -4. So 3, -4, which are your values of H and K respectively. Now, what you need to do is you need to simply plug these values into this function up here. So y equals A times X minus H squared plus K, and I'm going to go ahead and drop all these values in. Y equals 1 for A times X minus 3 squared plus -4. Now, there are a couple things I would change about how this is written. First of all, when your coefficient is 1, like it is here, you don't need to write that. So I'm going to have y equals x minus 3 squared, and instead of writing it plus -4, I'm just going to write that as -4. And there's my answer in vertex form. Writing a function into vertex form is very easy and straightforward. What we're going to now do is take a look at 4 problems as how to take it from standard form into vertex form. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first off on number 2, I'm going to go ahead and identify the value of A. Now it might not be overly obvious to you, but the value of A here is actually a 1 because there's a 1 in front of the x squared that wasn't written. So A is 1. Now I need H and K. The difference here is that I wasn't provided a graph, so what I'm going to do really quick is I am going to grab my Desmos calculator to type the function in to figure out the vertex. So I'm going to go ahead and type in y equals x squared plus 2x plus 8. And I'm going to look for the vertex. I had to zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to tap on the vertex, which is -1, 7. So -1 and 7 are your values for H and K. Now I'm ready to drop those values into vertex form. If you haven't memorized it already, don't worry. You'll be thinking about it and you'll be seeing it, so please memorize it. So y equals A times x minus h squared plus k. I'm going to go ahead and put in the values of A, which is 1, times x minus h, which is -1. So minus -1 squared. I know that looks tacky. I'll change that in a moment. Plus K, which is 7. The two things I would change about how this one's written, again, when you see a coefficient of 1, you don't need to write that. So just X, and right here, minus a negative, I would just simply make a plus 1 squared, and then a plus 7 still outside. Alright, moving on to number 3. We're going to figure out what A, H, and K are. Now the A is very easy. It's the A value that you see in the function. So the A value here is 2. Whatever that first number is, that's what your A value is in vertex form. Now what I'm doing is I'm grabbing my calculator, typing it in again. So 2x squared minus 8x plus 2. Alright, I'm going to tap on the vertex. I get an H value of 2 and a K value of -6. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and write that into vertex form. Here's my vertex form, just writing it down once again. I'm going to do that every single time while I'm teaching it. If you think that's a little redundant, you don't have to write it down every time. Now I'm going to plug in my values of a is 2 times x minus h is 2 squared plus negative 6. If you want to go ahead and write minus 6 instead of plus negative 6, that's fine. And this is good right here. We don't have anything I see that needs to be changed about how we've written it. It actually looks great. All right, time to look at the fourth one. And it's the same process every single time. A is negative 1 here. We're going to figure out what h and k are really quick, but something interesting does happen on this problem. So pay close attention. If you've already tuned me out because you think you know everything there is, well, this one might surprise you a bit. So negative x squared plus 8 has a vertex of 0, 8. So h is 0, k is 8. The interesting thing that happens is h is 0 really leads to an interesting answer. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it in to the vertex form, writing it down yet again. Plug my values in. There's a, h, and there's k. Now the interesting thing about x minus 0 is that would just be x. So usually you don't simplify this in the middle, but here you actually would. And since it's actually negative 1x squared, you could just write that as negative x squared plus 8. That's really weird. You got the problem as the answer. You actually just made a big old loop right here. So that happens when there's no bx term. What I mean by that, on number 2 there was 2x in the middle. On number 3 there was negative 8x in the middle. Here there was 12x in the middle. So whenever you see that there's no bx term, the problem is your answer in vertex form. If you can remember that shortcut, maybe save yourself a bit of work. All right, going to wrap things up with our last example here. A, h, and k. And go ahead and know that a is negative 3. Easy enough. And I'm going to use my calculator for the last time here on this lesson. So I'm going to type in negative 3x squared plus 12x minus 7. And tap on the vertex, 2, 5. So h is 2, k is 5. And now I'm going to plug it into the form. And now I'm going to have y equals negative 3 goes in for a times x minus 2 goes in for h squared plus k, which is 5. So negative 3 times x minus 2 squared plus 5. That is vertex form. There's nothing to change there. That looks good. All right, please reach out to me if you need any help. I know that if you're in my online class, you're having to do this on your own without my instructions, so please contact me if you need some assistance. I'll probably get back with you the next day since I was absent. But thank y'all very much, and good luck on your assignment. Have a great day.